Okay. Oh, one more thing. I was about to say OMG. I don't have video. How am I going to present on this? All right. So this will be the title of my session. Thank you very much for attending. Here we go. There we go. So this will be the intro slide. Just give me a second. I have to add my speakers to the mix. So how's everyone doing this morning? Good.
Wonderful.
So right now there's a form being passed around for a sign up. I am videotaping this session as well, so if you wanted to go back and relive this moment over and over and over again and share it with your friends, put it on Facebook, tweet it, do all that fun stuff, you can. So I'm filming this and I'll be putting it online hopefully within a couple weeks. So there we go.
Are you questions? I'll come around. Okay.
And in case anybody wants, I'm going to leave a stack of my business cards back here. If you have any iPad or iOS related questions, feel free to bug me, and I'll ignore it for a couple days and then reply. Just being honest. No, but really, you know, I love iPads and technology and things like that, and I love doing things with technology. And I have a lot of teachers who ask me about my iPad. They've seen me travel with my iPad since day one, and I'm happy to be able to present this and my knowledge and passion to you here today. So to basically get started here, what time do we run till? 9 o'clock? 9:10, so we have exactly 1 hour. All right. And actually, how's my title? I didn't get a chance to fix it.
That's great. You look perfect.
Here. Thank you. All right. Very good. So with that, I'm going to do a quickie little introduction, and this is basically, anybody here attend ACTE National Conference? Here? Anybody? None of you? Okay. None of you went to the ACTE last year when it was in Vegas? Nobody?
Oh, when it was in Vegas, yes.
Okay, yeah, when it was in Vegas. Well, this is basically me on stage at the national conference, and this is I use this video because it's the best introduction I have about me. So.
Responsible speaker, my daughter is going to enjoy. Don't wait for just a minute, please. Welcome, the founder and president of KD Education Systems, Nai Wang.
KP, Knowledge in Practice. I'm Nai Wang, founder and president of KP Education Systems, and I have devoted my entire adult life to the pursuit of furthering.
Why is everyone laughing at me?
You were probably a lot younger than the rest of the group.
Yeah, I was going to say, your adult life is not very long.
Okay, my taller adult and childhood, I guess. To the pursuit of furthering education through technology. KP is proud to sponsor Chef Jeff Henderson. We share his personal passion to fight for what is right, to provide opportunity for all through knowledge and practice. KP is dedicated to that. Thank you, Chef Jefferson, Chef Jeff, for being an inspiration to us. More importantly, I would like to thank you, the devoted CTE educators. Without people like you, reaching people like me, the ones who didn't perfectly fit the academic model, I wouldn't be standing here in front of you today. Please give yourselves a round of applause.
that introduction because this is my first time ever on stage, and this is like about, I think, 2 years ago actually, in front of like 5,000 people. Oh, very nervous, and because I'm a computer nerd, and I'm not used to being in front of people, and like and here I am talking in front of a bunch of teachers today about my passion. So
You're older now.
I am older now, so I'm not a kid anymore. I've grown up.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah. So that's the introduction about myself, and actually about, let's go back to the presentation here. Yeah, I am a computer nerd. I'm proud of one, and I love technology, and I'm in the field of education, and I love melding the two worlds together. So iPads, who needs them? Of course, I do, right? I do. So, and do you? Do you feel the same way? Do you need iPads, or is it just one of those like new fashion tools that's just going to be used to complicate your life again and again and again? So I got a couple questions here before we get started. Okay, so anybody here, raise your hands. Anybody here that needs to be convinced that tablets are useful in education? All right, so we have a couple of you right there. So you're still like in the stage of I'm not too sure. It'll probably go away in a year.
I'm in the stage of I've never touched an iPad.
Okay. Yeah.
Never seen it.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Now you touched it. Wonderful. Okay. Anybody here bring your iPads here? So we have a few of you. Okay. Good. Good. Anybody here own it and did not bring it? Oh, there's a good number of you. Shame on you for leaving your iPad. Never leave your iPad home. Like Evan. So, anybody own other tablets besides an iPad?
I have in the past.
Huh?
I have in the past.
Have in the past, but you switched, you converted. Well, they're good tablets too, and they have a lot of potential in education as well. And who here owns the 3G version? Real quick. Okay, so the rest of you are just on Wi-Fi. Anybody here iPad 2 toters? Okay, yeah. iPad 2, just amazing. Okay, so I just want a quick question about who's here. Anybody representing middle schools here? Okay, a few of you. Tech centers. Okay. High schools. All right, the rest of you. Okay, so now this is reminding me to break through my graphic. So, so as you can see, we got a large variety of people here. And I asked this question a year ago. I've been presenting on this for a year now, and the numbers were very few a year ago. It's just amazing how that's changed just in 1 year's time. And if you think about it, in less than 2 years, these things didn't even exist. They were still in our imaginations. So first off, I'll come over here and pay a little homage to Steve Jobs. This man was an inspiration to us all, and he has done a lot to transform computers in education. And it was very fitting because I gave the speech just a couple days after his passing, and it was a shock to us all. So I just want to bring this up to bring it up. Okay, so first thing I'm going to show you is my cat. Okay, let's move on. All right, so what I'm going to do is, this is a presentation that's going to be kind of like an introductory course. So I'm going to be basically going through the different levels. Like the first level I'm going to talk about really quickly is level 0, the practical. Practical applications of the device in the physical form. Because like a lot of people ask me like things like what do you use for accessories and things like that. And I thought about it, like I guess that's important too, to know what kind of like accessories and things to get. So I threw that in there. As level 0. Level 1, obvious uses. Then we got level 2, the apps, using the apps as intended. Level 3, the creative, which is what I call using the apps as intended, but creatively using it above and beyond what the developers made it for. Then level 4 is the imaginative. We're not going to cover that, but basically, reimagining the apps and then combining them to whole new ways. Level 5, the unexpected, which is you're using an app and all of a sudden you realize you can do something else with it, and it opens a whole new door. And then we got the savvy people. We're at level 6. We don't even talk about them. And then level 7, the ludicrous, what we call ludicrous speed. Anybody seeing Spaceballer down here? See if he smiles. Everyone's really timid this morning. You got your coffee? Everyone got their coffee? As you can see, I am a kid, I guess, noticeably, but I'm really not. I've been in education for 15 years, developing computers and technology. So speaking of which, kid, that's me as a high schooler. That's why I gave you a little background about me. That's actually not me. That's just a Google image of a random Chinese kid. But it could be. So as a kid, I was a kid who was bored in school. My mind wandered. I was like going a million miles per hour. If my parents were wealthy enough, they would have taken me to a psychiatrist, and I would have been diagnosed with ADHD. I was just like hyperactive and out of control. Like in school, I was pretty bad. I didn't pay attention, but I did pay attention at the same time because I wasn't stimulated enough. And I'm sure you guys relate to this with a lot of kids nowadays, especially with the MTV generation. Oh, that's an old terminology now, but you know how the kids need to be stimulated. So I was one of those unfortunates, but fortunately, my parents didn't have enough means to be able to put me on any medication. So I actually used my handicap and in my adult life turned it into my advantage. Like I could actually focus on 5 or 6 different things at once and be able to complete all those tasks without a problem. I could just stare at everything and then just absorb it all. So I see it as a big advantage for me because I could take in more information than people who were linear learners. So thank goodness for poverty, right? So with that, we're talking about computers. Remember the PEC computer? Anybody here remember those computers back in the day? This was my first introduction to computers and technology. So that kind of dates me a little bit. But basically, when I saw this computer, I went into it and I started writing command lines. And I'm like going, oh my gosh, I could do things that no one else can. I can make this computer crunch numbers as fun as a grade schooler can do with that, I guess. Put weird graphics on the screen. You can do very, very same to anybody. Then, as a kid, I was a Star Trek enthusiast. So as you can see here, we have an early version of the tablet, as mentioned by Gene Roddenberry. So you can see that the tablet devices has always been in our minds. A computing device that we can interact with by hand, by touch, not as a laptop. This is in the 1970s, so this is far away from reality to where we are today. Here's Jean-Luc Picard, with a iPad-looking device in Star Trek Next Generation. Any Trekkies out here? Anybody? Nobody wants to admit it? Okay, you got a few of you. Good, diehards. Okay, then the laptop came out. Now, the laptop was like, oh my gosh, I can take my computer with me and use it for like half an hour, and then it dies. No, so this is like, circa 1994, early generation laptop. I mean, it was amazing. You could do your things, but there were still very limited uses. Then the Palm came out, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I could do my do my schedules and keep my calendars and my address book and my shopping list in the palm of my hand. And it was a great technology back in the late 90s, but the problem is that it still wasn't able to do everything that we really need to do because it needed a touch interface, a pen interface. Then we had the early tablets in 2005 that came out, and when that came out, I was like, oh my gosh, I have Star Trek in my hands. And I actually did say that. I have Star Trek in my hands. Because you had your pen, you were able to interface with a computer. Unfortunately, they were heavy, they were bulky, the battery lives really sucked, and you had to run a horrible operating system called Windows XP, which really wasn't designed for touch interface. So I do have to make a disclaimer. I'm not an Apple representative. I do not work for Apple. I do not have anything. I just own their products, and I love their products. In my real life, I have my company. We develop technology for online learning and things like that. And tablets was our savior when those devices came out because it really allows students to be able to hold their learning rather than peering in a book. So anyway, then the iPhone came out. Then it's like that completely revolutionized telephones because before we just had pen interfaces and regular flip phones, and then when they came out, this was the beginning of the touch era. Then, as you know, iPads came out a couple years ago, and then other tablets came out after that. But basically, what I want you to leave you with here is that you think of these devices as a Swiss Army knife of infinite possibilities. And that's a good thing, but that's a bad thing because there's an infinite amount of possibilities to do with these things. And to be able to figure out the best uses in education, that's what all of us educators are challenged with, is trying to figure out what to do with this Swiss Army knife of infinite possibilities. And there's great ideas out there, and things are emerging. So this is like the early pioneering days. You got to think about it. How fast was other technologies adopted in education? For a piece of technology that only emerged less than a couple years ago, to be adopted by education, that's revolutionary in itself. To think about education being able to embrace it, adopt it, and jump headfirst into this piece of technology. We don't have to wait for grants or research or 5-year study programs for it to emerge. People are jumping into it because we're excited about it. Okay, so that's the brief intro. I say a lot, and as you know that I'm not used to speaking, so I'm it's forewarning you. Other than the fact that I'm getting a little more used to speaking now. All right, so anybody here consider yourselves actually that's a rhetorical question. The obvious, like you understand the obvious uses of the iPad okay, it's only a few of you, so everyone's at level 0. Come on, I want to see more hands. You got to see more hands about that. All right, so now we got the app user, so you're using the apps, you're comfortable with the apps and things like that. Now, creative uses level 3 is like be able to take the apps and then do a lot more creative things. Anybody feel that they're at that level? I just want to see. Nobody? Okay, so then no power users then, right? No power users. Okay, so this is a note to myself to slow down. I go a million miles per hour, and if you need me to slow down, just let me know. Like raise your hand, shout out, throw a piece of chalk at me. Actually, don't use chalk anymore. throw a dry erase marker at me or something like that. But this session is also designed to be interactive too. So as I'm demonstrating my knowledge and my experience, now I want you guys to share your experiences as well with each other, because this is a good way for you to create a think tank. Because one of the best examples of this presentation is other teachers saying, I use this, I use that, I use that. Because everyone's in little islands here and there doing their thing. But when you all gather together, you can pool all your knowledge together and come up with something even better. So I'm here to change your mindset, take it and dispel the myth that it's not a phone or a PC. It's something entirely different. Oh, and this is a reminder for me to tell you what I do. So basically, what I do is I do learning management system development, primarily in the culinary arts. That's why I'm really tied into the ACTE organization through Career Tech Ed. So what we do is we do a cloud-based system that really develops. It's really developed for mastery of knowledge rather than testing for a score. So we actually let the students level up from novice, apprentice, scholar, guru, primarily food, culinary arts, food science, and facts. Okay, so enough of that. Let's go back to this. Now, as you can see, I'm actually using the photo app to do the graphic manipulation of this. Now, this is actually a level 3 example of taking a simple photo app and using it to do kind of like what you're probably familiar with as presentations to be able to change and shift the focus. All right, so back to level 0, the practical. Now, one of the things that a lot of us deal with, is what do we use for a bag? I just wanted to point this out to you, that don't spend ungodly amounts of money on bags, because bags can be as simple as anything that can hold the iPad. Like me, I have this bag right here, and this holds my iPad. And I traveled the world with this. I've been in Japan. I actually been on Mount Fuji with this bag, and basically this holds my iPad right in here. So you can see it's right here. So as you know, what kind of bag is this? Nobody wants to say it. Man purse. Okay. No, this is but it's actually a European travel bag, and this is only $20, and it wasn't designed for the iPad. The iPad just happened to fit in it. It has lots of room for accessories and things like that. You just take your iPad out, put it in, and just quick like that. Oh, bro, no. Jesus. It's okay. It's fake. Sorry, I had to do that. But when I saw that on on the web. I was like, I gotta get that. So as you can see, it's a really convenient way, and you know, I have it tucked in my coat, so it's actually something I can do. So I travel with this everywhere, but I'm only bringing this up to say you don't have to spend $50, $60, $100 on a bag. Any bag that can fit the iPad is fine. And yeah, like stands, like iPad stands, like they're out there for like $50, $60, sometimes $100 to be able to hold your amazing device. And here I have these iPads sitting up here, and I'm using a really sophisticated device that can fold up like this. Now, anybody recognize what these things are? Paint or picture frame holder. $2.99 at Joanne Fabrics. And this thing's like the perfect travel companion because you can put anything on it. I don't know if you can see it like this. Put it down like that. You know, it doesn't have to be expensive. But you know, all it is just picture frame holder. It's better than any holder out there because I can just collapse it and stick it in my man purse. Yeah, exactly. Along with all the other accessories and goodies. Okay, so speeding through here, the keyboard is very important. Now this thing is a lifesaver because one of the things I love about iPads is that I don't need a keyboard. But for those rare occasions that I do, so I say the 10% of the 90% usage, these things are handy, and they're so small, they're thin, as you can see, and very light, and they actually fit in my man purse as well. So there you go. What? This is a keyboard you can buy from any store. It's like $70 from like Best Buy, Verizon Electronics, anywhere online. And these are very useful because like if you have to do a lot of typing, and a lot of people aren't used to the touch type interface. I could type at about 80 words per minute on the tablet interface, so I don't really need it. But when I'm composing a novel, like I do, but if I'm composing something long, I just whip this out and use it. And it's so convenient. And then you can see that how if you put it with your iPad, just look at the footprint on that thing. So anybody here on the keyboard or Bluetooth keyboard? Anybody own the one with the dock that you have to dock your iPad on? Like good, those things are terrible. Okay, so this is an essential accessory that everybody should own, which is the picture interface device. And basically what it is it allows you to take digital photos and plug it into the iPad and import your photos right into it. They're like $30 or something like that. And this is a must. This is a interface cable that allows you to interface the iPad to the projector, like what I'm doing right now. So basically, all it is just you plug it in and you plug in the VGA, and then off you go to the races, and they're able to zoom in and do all these wonderful things. There's two different kinds. This is the HDMI kind, which is I think $30, and then the other one, which is the VGA, which is the one I'm using right now, which is probably the more common one that you can use, unless if you have an HD setup, is I think $30 as well. So these are essential because if you're doing presentations and things like that, this is how you do it. This is an HDMI iPad cable, and then the other one's a VGA iPad cable. You can get them at Best Buy or any electronic store, or online, or order it online. So this is a picture of the HDMI version, which is for the iPad 2 right now, because the iPad 1 doesn't support. Well, I think they just updated it and changed the support for that. So here's the other thing that I didn't have a picture of. This is actually really cool. If you have an iPad 2, this is called the Apple TV device. It's $100, and what it is, it allows you to watch TV by hooking up with the HDMI cable to your TV. But actually, what it's really used for is you can actually wirelessly connect your iPad to this and be doing the same thing I'm doing without a wire. If you have a high def TV with an HDMI port, it doesn't work with projectors because they use VGA. Yes.
Don't you need a service provider?
No, all you need is Wi-Fi. So you hook this thing up to the Wi-Fi, so you have to work with your technician, figure out like what protocols it takes. But once it's hooked up to the Wi-Fi, then it detects your iPad, and then those two sync up, and magic happens, and then you're able to show your screen to this without having a wire connected to it, like so. Apple TV. So it's $100, and it's used for TV, but but the secondary use for it is for screen mirroring, only with iPad 2 running iOS 5. Yeah, I saw a hand flash up there.
I was just, are you aware of anything that would work with this system here, like that without having to do the the connection to the iPad, like to go Bluetooth or to?
To go wirelessly,
Yeah.
if the projector supported HDMI, then you could put this up there and then plug it in, and then the two would connect. So that's if the projector had it. Let me just take a quick look. Most projectors don't. Only like high-end ones or ones that are designed for home theater systems. And no, it doesn't. So this one does not have the necessary connector to be able to do. That's what we call screen mirroring.
And then you just need an HDMI cable, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so if you're in a classroom where you have an LCD TV, I think some schools have that, then you can just plug this to the LCD TV, Velcro it to the back of the screen or something like that, and then you're good to go.
But you said that it's only for Apple too?
Only for iPad 2.
iPad 2, I mean?
Yes. Very useful accessory. Other things that I didn't mention is like, these really cool speakers. You've probably seen them. They're for music. And I'm creating a mess. Mess of cable. Anyway, see these things? These are like iPhone speakers. I think they're like $40. They're really compact. Collapse them into like this little nodule here. I travel with this. Really cool device. And like, accessories. Like if you go online, this is a 4-port accessory that charges 2 iPads or 4 iPhones simultaneously. I think it was like $9 from some Hong Kong website or something like that. It's called, I don't even know what it's called. I should just put that in and know what it's called. But anyway, like, devices, things like this doesn't have to be expensive. This, I think it was like $7. I think I bought it from buy.com. I can't remember. And docks and things like that. And retractable cables. Okay, so that's enough of the level 0. Anybody find that portion useful? Was that good? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I always have to remind myself that I need to step back and get get back into the real world before I go a little too far. And this is like a really cool thing. This is a USB car charger, charges 2 iPads simultaneously. The key with iPad charging is that you have to read the milliamperage of the device. Each iPad sucks away 1,000 milliamps. So these devices have to support, like here on this is one USB puts out 2,000 milliamps, 2 puts out 1,000, 3 puts out 670, and 4 puts out 500 milliamps. So iPhones use 500, so you can put 4 iPhones on here. iPads use 1,000, so you can only put 2 iPads. So that's the key to looking for devices like this. There's a lot of devices that put out less than 500 for the other phones, and won't work with any iPhones and things like that. So good thing to keep in mind. Read the milliamps.
What's that called again? 500 what?
Milliamps
Milliamps.
or MA, MA milliamps. So that's just a little technical side of things. And actually, when you buy these accessories, they'll say on the description, 300 milliamps, which is the common ones, which are cheap, and then and then 600, 900, 1,000, 2,000. So this one's a multi-port, so it puts out 2,000. Okay, so moving on. Oh, wait, that's Japan. That's me. That's my niece. Okay, so that's level 0. So level 1 is the practical. So obviously we know that we could get email. So there's my emails. There's my email from Nancy. And do web surfing, do all the various things. So anybody have any questions on the basics using iBooks? Things like that. So actually, this is actually very fitting that we're doing this presentation now on the heels of Apple's big education announcement. Anybody watch the keynote, study it, read about it? But did you all hear about the education announcement that they did on Thursday?
No.
Well, basically what Apple did was they usually do a big announcement every year. So last year was the iPad 2. The year before that was the iPad 1. This year, Apple made the announcement that they were going to be devoting a significant amount of resources towards improving education. And basically what they've designed is using their iBooks. They made a new version of iBook that will allow the publishers to be able to easily create more interactive experiences. In other words, put like animations and interactives. So basically taking the ebooks to the next level. So prior to this will be my moment to go on a little tirade about how I dislike publishers, because publishers are currently only making ebooks, which is just a digital form of textbooks. And I always just before I said, that's not enough. Putting a textbook in a digital platform will only save my shoulder, but it won't create a better immersive experience for the students. So with Apple's announcement, I can't say that anymore. So but actually I can, because it's still up to the publisher to create that immersive, interactive environment. In fact, so just to show you a quick example, I have iBooks loaded on here. So let me go ahead and switch over to the other one. So what it does is all it is it makes it easy for publishers to put videos inside of the book. So we're taking the ebook to the next level. So let's see here. Pop up. Fortunately, I haven't hooked this up to the iPad before. Oh, that's right. This is the iPad one. Silly me. This doesn't support screen mirroring in this mode. So that's a good thing. The app has to be designed to be able to project out on the iPad 1, which most apps are. That app just isn't. But if you see on the small screen, so this is the book, and here's like a video that you can play right off of it. So it's really not rocket science. It's just that Apple made it so that a lot easier for publishers to take the content and put it into a book format. So it's just like redefining a new book standard that hopefully educators will be able to glom on. But still, that's not the end of the work. That's not the end, because I still think that they can take it to the next level and create concept-driven knowledge-based systems rather than linear textbooks, which is how you can transcend that aspect. Anywho, so that was really exciting that Apple made that announcement, and they're devoting a lot of their resources towards that end to be able to make it so that the publishers can transition from this static, boring textbook that's in a digital format that has really cool animations, but it's still a textbook. I don't like textbooks. I never read textbooks when I was a kid. In fact, I actually went through all of high school without reading a single novel because I couldn't absorb that information. I did it other ways through auditory learning and visual kinesthetic and all that, but reading was not my thing. So anyway, enough about me. So iBooks are really useful. iTunes U. The thing I want to leave you with the level 1 is that use the App Store. Dive into it. If you have an extra 15 minutes, half an hour, it's worth exploring what's to offer. So one of the things that you look at is the top charts. What's the most important? Well, obviously you can see to the rest of the world, games are the most important thing. In fact, when you think of games, what's the first thing you think of when games on the iPad? Angry Birds, yes. So iPads are wonderful gaming devices, and purely because of the touch interface. And it's important to note that it's important that they remain gaming devices, because where else in education do you have a device that is not only an education tool but a gaming tool? So it kind of transcends that model of this is an education device, and that's all kids think about is education device. And they turn on, they go, okay, I'm using a clicker, but it's still an education device. They may make it look like a Xbox 360 controller or something cool like that, but it's still an education device. Now you have iPads and iPod touches. They're not just gaming devices. They're not just the education devices. They're actually gaming devices that kids can interact with, and they go, oh yeah, I have an iPod. I play Infinity Blade on it, or I play Angry Birds on it, or I play all these different games, and then now I'm using it for education. So it really changes the psychology and the mindset in the student's eye that that these games are used for education. So as you can see here, I'm a very big gamer. So here's all my games, strategy games. You can play GarageBand is awesome on here. The Sims, you know, so you can see that there's a lot of things like, you know, Plants vs. Zombies. It's a wonderful gaming device. And the fact of the matter is that you could use this gaming device for education. One of my biggest dreams, like years back, was to turn like, you know, Xboxes or PlayStations into education devices. Unfortunately, developing on those platforms is cost prohibitive, so that's why no one really ventured into that. But it would have been really cool. But now we have like these devices that are really flexible and easy to develop in. So in the App Store, you look through, but you have categories here, which then you could go into specific categories such as up there, you have books, you know, you have this field called education, and there's a ton of education apps. In fact, people are realizing that that iPads are perfect for education, especially, you know, in the K-6 arena, getting students to interact. Like, you know, I have like, you know, friends with kids, and they're like, you know, their 2-year-old can work an iPod now. Isn't that amazing? You know, and you know, we can't even like, you know, go through and navigate the email. So the thing is, like, you know, they're growing up with this technology, and they're expecting it, and they need it to be able to complete their education, because they're expecting so much more out of education. So it's very important that, like, you know, when you look at the apps, you look at the rating. You know, this seems a little elementary to you, but I have to bring it up because, like, you know, it's an important aspect of finding out if the app is good, because the ratings and the reviews are good. Yes.
Can you recommend a good site or blog or something that references or categorizes educational apps? I mean, when we sit down and look at it, I know for myself, I look up and 2 hours have gone by and I still haven't found. I found 5 great ones that I want, but I haven't found.
And that's the problem is, like, every single education blog or site that I've looked at, and I've done extensive research, and they do a lot of good basic suggestions. But then so many things are changing so rapidly that it's hard for them to keep up. So right now, I can't find any good concrete ones that's focused on reviewing education.
So there's nothing that says here's a standard, here's an app that works for it?
No, there isn't right now. It's still the wild west, and until somebody, you know, and there's actually, if you do a Google for apps and app reviews, there's a few teachers that went into it back in 2009, and they wrote all these app reviews about apps back in the summer of 2009. But, you know, here we are in 2012. It's not really applicable anymore. So because the landscape is changing so rapidly, and there's so many great apps that have recently come out that in education that that's the problem with this new technology and trying to get a foothold and a standard on. There is no standard. There is no one right way. There's like a thousand really great ways to use it. And I'm just going to try to show you like some apps that will help you in your organization, in your life, and in your teaching as well. So good question. Right now there isn't. Maybe I'll create a blog review site. I don't know.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, it does take a lot of time, and unfortunately, I'm not in the classroom, so I'm not the best person to do it. But the teachers who are in the classroom, they don't have time to do it. So, you know, we got a little conundrum there, a little problem. Like, you know, the ones that should be doing it or could do it don't have the time to do it, and the ones that could do it aren't really in the right arena. Although I can kind of wing it, I guess. So, but the thing is, like the App Store in the education, they do a very good job at organizing information and making it so that, you know, when you're exploring it, you know, you spend a couple hours, you find a few good ones, and then you just kind of hold on to it. You don't know if it's good or not until you review it. Now, here's one key thing about Apple is that if you don't know, Apple has a really great education policy. So if you have like an iPad cards, anybody have iPad cards in your school yet? Okay, you. So the thing is, like, if you're buying an app and it's like, you know, $4.99. And you go, okay, do I have to pay $4.99 times 30? No, because Apple has a great policy where if you're ordering it and using it in an education environment, they discount the apps down to, I think it's like 70 to 80%. So, good question.
Your office manager and your ECS will have that set up for your school.
Yeah, good answer. So can you say that out loud to everybody?
Each school has a Apple, I think it's Apple Share or something. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but where you would have your own login on the Apple Store. There's a separate one for each school, and your office manager, your ECS, will set that up with the central office, and then it's purchased through that. And yeah, they're all at least half off.
No, I mean, I heard like quite a good app. Don't worry about paying $12.99 times 30. Even
It
at
doesn't
$12.99.
blanket though, like if your school has 5 carts, it's not, I think it only does it in like quantities of 20 or 30, something like that.
Yeah,
So that's why-
it's in units, it's in quantity, so you have to buy quantity for a specific purpose, and then but don't be shy, like that you're not spending like several $100s. They do a very good program on that. Okay, so that's the App Store. Good way to explore. It does take a lot of time, but the landscape's still the Wild Wild West, and we hope that it just becomes better as time goes on. Other things that are really great practical uses is the camera. Now the camera is really great because as I'm hooked up to the hey, look at me. Oh, here, I'm sideways. There we go. So as you can see, like oops, I just myself off. So just the camera itself. Computer 1. There we go. Hey, look, there I am. We'll take this off, and then we go over here, switch over here, and then hey, there you guys are. So you can see that like now I just turned this device into a presentation tool, like an Elmo or something like that. So if I need to show something really close up, okay, you see that class? Okay. So you just taken this simple app and use it for a different purpose to be able to display things.
When did you switch to do that?
This is just the camera app, which is down there in the bottom right. You see camera, the second icon. I wish I had my laser pointer. So it's just a camera app. FaceTime is really good too because FaceTime is an app that allows you to download and you can talk to other people like Skype.
Yeah, you can Skype on the iPad too.
Yeah, then we have Skype as well. So there's Skype. So Skype's on the iPad and it's absolutely free as well. And you can Skype with other people and do video conferencing and things like that. So I'm just going to move through very useful productivity applications like Pages is very important because it's basically Apple's version of a word processor. It's really well done, and they did it. It's a little expensive. It's $10, but when you think about it, $10 isn't that much. But it's $10 in the Apple. That's actually very expensive. And you use it. You can.
Which one is this one?
This is called Pages. Now there are other apps that are like suites that are like $8, $9, $10, $15, like Docs to Go and other productivity applications that have spreadsheets, Word documents, and like an all-in-one solution. And those are great applications as well for doing PC to Apple conversion. But it's like for this one purpose, this app does a better job than the other programs that have all of it built in. Very useful apps as well as like news apps. I love news apps because, as you know, I don't read very well, but reading on the iPad, for some reason, I could just visually interface with this much better. For some reason, so I could read the news, pay attention to none of the stocks I have. And then, my favorite app for news reading is the Wall Street Journal, because for me, like as a developer, I like to get apps that are intuitive and well designed. And this is actually a very well designed and intuitive application because it's done very well. So I'm going to go to yesterday's because I already have yesterday's loaded.
Now, is this the full newspaper or is this the version? Free version.
No, actually, I decided to pay for it, so it's like, what was that, $4 a week or something like that? $3? I can't remember. What was it, $4 a month? So as you can see, like all you do is swipe, and this is what good design is. You click on the article. And here it is pulling up. And then once you're done with it, you swipe down. And then you're done with it, you can swipe to the next section. So it's just very intuitive. You don't have to hit buttons. Unlike the other app that I will point out that doesn't have a very intuitive interface, USA Today. It's a great app as well, but they could have put a little more R&D into the interface and design. It's pretty hasty. So here's the news. Here it is. And to be able to get out of it instead of intuitively swiping, I have to hit this button up in the upper left-hand corner to get back. So that's just the difference between good design using the touch interface versus using the old style click on a button to do something method. And it actually was really cool because this is NHK World, which actually is an iPhone app. It allowed me to watch the Japanese news through Nihon television during the tsunami. So I was actually watching live news broadcasts from there, and they actually have an English division, so it's actually in English, and then you can watch videos of the coverage. So this is actually their television now. So they have a lot of English programming there. So it was really cool to be able to do that and pay attention to that particular world right from my device. Other useful things, Keynote. I used Keynote in the beginning to be able to do that PowerPoint presentation. And Keynote is very easy to use. It's another $10 app by Apple. Okay, so since we're running low on time, I'm going to go to a level 3 app, which is Goodreader. Now, Goodreader is a really cool app. I picked it up back when it was $1, but now it's like $5. Basically, it's the everything you need in a document reader application.
What's it called?
Goodreader.
Goodreader?
It reads PDF documents, Word docs. It doesn't do any editing, but it's really good for reading documents. So like here I can look at the current sessions, and you can see I marked it up some. So there we go. And it does a really good job at reading PDF documents. You can zoom in, zoom out, do all these sorts of things with it. Look at this is the presenter check-in document. So this is an offline viewer, so you can read documents like that. But one of the things that you can creatively use this for, to show you kind of like a level 3 application, is that they have this button down here that I click down there, which is like a little Wi-Fi icon, and I can turn this into a wireless server. And what that means is that now that it's a wireless server, and if I'm connected to the internet, other computers and devices can connect to this iPad and pull documents off of it, which is really cool because I'm like, oh, I got a document I got to share with you. Well, let me email it to you. Wait a second. I can just have you connected, and you can just pull the documents right off my iPad. So I just turned this into a server just by clicking on that. Most people don't notice it because you don't think to click on the little icon down here called wire transfer. So that's just like one example of a creative use of it. Another thing that I wanted to show you here is like,
with that Wi-Fi, do you have to have the video program on the other computers also?
No, you just use a web browser and browse to it. So this is actually a really cool program called iCap RDP. It's a $8 app, and basically what it is it allows me to connect to my computer, kind of like go to my PC if you're familiar with it. So you can see, so here's my computer, and actually, I was editing the website and things like that, so I could actually come through and move the mouse around and show the screen. So I was actually this morning I was doing a presentation using my iPad, and I was using GoToMeeting. So I was actually connected to my PC, doing a presentation to somebody in Washington D.C. using my iPad. It's actually pretty funny. And I was actually using it too. It's called iCap RDP. Now this one requires a little bit more technical prowess to be able to connect it, because you have to be able to understand remote desktop protocols, which is basically the PC's way of connecting to another PC. You have to work with your technician to do that. The only reason I'm pointing this one out is because this one out of the 5 that I reviewed has the best and most intuitive interface and the fastest protocols, meaning that I could do so much more with it in less bandwidth. Yes?
Can you just use the iCloud?
No, iCloud doesn't connect to your PC. iCloud is just a storage system that allows you to store pictures and information and backups as well. So this is a good one. This is a really good one if you can use it. It does require a little bit more technical prowess to be able to set it up, especially if you need to go through firewalls and things like that. But if you're actually a technician, I want to use an RDP to my computer, they'll be like, oh gosh. But the thing is, if you have an app, that allows you to connect to the PC and then show the PC.
What was the name of it again?
iCap, ICAP, and an RDP. They also have an iCap B and C, but I won't get into that. But that's another way to connect to your program. More common way right now, it's actually recently changed to free, is Log Me In. Log Me In is really good because if you want to log into your PC at home, you don't need any technical expertise. And it used to be $25. Now they just made a free version, which actually lets you connect to it for free. But they've removed a lot of the features and want you to subscribe to it now. It's paying $10 a month rather than $25 for the one-time fee, which actually really sucks. But the thing is, like, for the regular people, all you do is install an app on your install an application on your PC, install it on your iPad, and then they take care of the rest. So you just gotta value, like, what level of if you know some kid who can set it up, great. But if you have to go the other route, then you have to pay more. But so it's really worth it, because to be able to connect to your computer on the go, anywhere, everywhere, if you have a 3G connection, wireless connection, I mean, it's a lifesaver. All right, so we're down to the wire. 10 more minutes, or 9 minutes left. So other things I want to show you, like videos. This is really cool because you can load videos onto your iPad. So I just kind of demonstrated that one. Another one that I really like is this one right here. So this shows you. This is like how I envision the future of education. So there we go. That's how we should all learn in the future. I love that clip. The Dropbox is a very useful application. Anybody here use Dropbox on the PC? I mean, it's a great way to store lots of information. So, like, if I come over here, I can click on the Dropbox for the forming task, and then here it is, and I just walk up to the terminal and go, bing, right there. It's a PDF document. It's another way to be able to do it, but it's all online rather than Goodreader. And if I want to put it over to Goodreader, I click on the top right-hand corner, and I can switch it over to Goodreader. And then now it's offline, so it saves it to Goodreader. So you see how the apps are integrated and interchangeable with each other. It's really useful. Then I can go, okay, bing.
What if that doesn't work?
If it doesn't work, then you have to type in your code. But actually, it's worked more times than not. So, but you have to check with your carrier. Certain carriers don't support the digital version. Like US Air does a really good job. And I can't remember what my experience with Delta was, but I fly around a lot, so not being able to, not having to print out paper copies is great. Actually, it's really cool because I actually remote into my PC. I check in, then I print it to a PDF document, then I put it in my Dropbox, and then I download it here. Boom, and I'm doing it on the cab ride to the airport. Engadget, if you're a gadget lover, this is the Everything Tech News. Like I said, it's basically a news blog, and it does, basically, what it does is if you want to keep abreast to tech, you just go through and scan through here and find out what the latest things happening in technology is. Not really related to education, but since I'm a gadget freak, I browse this every morning and spend about 10-15 minutes reading this news feed. Page 2. So here's the BNC app. I have BNC, like talk to it. I was going to log me in. Air Video is really cool because what it does is it allows me to connect to my PC from anywhere and actually watch videos and sound over the air. So I'm actually connected to my PC, and I've got the Big Bang Theory here.
Can you do that on the iPad 1?
Yes, you can. Yeah. So all of these apps I'm showing you is also iPad 1, except for FaceTime. So there we go. So we're actually streaming this over the 3G connection, watching the show.
Clarify something for me. Isn't the point of a communal meal the exchange of ideas and opinions, an opportunity?
Anybody watch Big Bang Theory?
And what's this app called?
It's called Air Video. So Air Video is it's a really good app. I think it's $5. It's one of the best video streaming apps that I've seen out there. Although I haven't looked since then, since I found it about a year ago. So maybe something better has come out. Who knows? But they're really good. TripIt's really good if you travel a lot. But here, these two next to one, Speed Test and Speed Test. I have 2 versions of Speed Test. Speed Test is extremely important, especially when you go into an unknown environment. So before I came into this room, I came in here and I hit Speed Test because I wanted to know what my bandwidth is to know what I could do with my iPad. So if my speeds were really low, like less than 500 kilobits per second, then I would know that do not stream videos or do not do certain things. Like here I'm clocking in at 1 megabit, which is actually decent broadband speed. So it's very important because you may show up at a hotel or in a certain room in the district and you go, is my 3G connection better or is the Wi-Fi connection better? Some cases the Wi-Fi connection is worse than your 3G. Some cases your Wi-Fi is 1 to 100 kilobits. So it's good to know the difference. And the reason I have two is one actually tests the server, and then the other one tests my local connection to test out the wireless signal. All right. Yes. All right. Photo booth. This is the fun app as you can see, as you saw earlier. Some really fun pictures of nieces. As far as education applications are concerned, I'm not too sure, but it's just fun. Hey, and things like that. So let's go back. Oops. All right. So moving on here, Foursquare, social media. We're not going to really need to cover social media. You can do that on your cell phone. Pulse is a really great news reading app. So anybody read news groups and news feeds and things like that, it's a really great app to organize all your feeds in one. So you can see what's going on in the different magazines, what's going on at Time, tool hunting, what's going on in the tech world. So you can see all these things that we do on our PC can be done on the iPad, but much more visual, much more interactive than before. Education-specific apps. I should probably start with this. Here's a really cool, cheap one called TeacherPal. It really doesn't do much other than allows you to check in students. So you can type in the student's name and then put them in a specific position on the and take attendance and things like that. So there are a lot of these apps out there. So did everyone sign the piece of paper if you wanted to see the email of the video of this? And then things like Science 360. I'm not going to show you. It takes a long time to load. It's a really cool way to explore science concepts and things like that. And it's free. Poplet Lite is actually a really cool app that was turned on me at the last session. And basically what it is, it's an app that allows you to. Well, did I forget to put my business cards up there? That basically allows students to interact with each other and create flowcharts and presentations, all from various apps. Oops. Oh, I did put my business cards out. I forgot. Okay. So this is a really cool app. It's $5, and it basically allows you to do collaborative work on the iPad. It's winding down here, so I'm just trying to see if I can point out any other really cool ones. Book readers, comic book readers, yeah. So if you're a big comic book reader, I'm not, but I just like the fact that you could be able to see comics. Oh, I haven't read it in a while, so in a really good form. So with last remaining 2 minutes, or actually, according to my watch, I have 1 minute left, but according to that, I'm done. Any questions? You like it? Don't like it? Thoughts? Was it useful?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you.
I got him. Drew, Crystal. Thank you very much.
Yeah, or I maybe had some friends that I don't want to have.
The only way to get rid of those is to delete it from the folder
Thank you. Good. Oh, let's stop in there. Good. Okay. You got lunch boxes?
I do not.
Oh! Try to get her to get lunchbox. Donate.